Hiya folks, DeeDee here today, and look what has arrived for me. My box from Donna and Bill and for Find Out Friday, and I'm really nervous. I've seen so far, time-wise, what the September group got. I haven't had a chance. Today is the 28th of September, so we haven't gotten to the first Friday in October, so I don't know what the October team has. The September team had a really great set. So let's open it and see. Oh my gosh, I'm really nervous. Okay, here we go. Well, maybe if I can get into it without hurting myself. That's my fault because I am working around a new camera setup, and this is kind of my first chance to test it out, and apparently I'm going to need to change a few things, but so welcome to my experimental process here. Okay, so we are open. This is our Find Out Friday. Look at this teal wrapping paper, by the way, that of course Donna has. It's kind of like a, oh, it's just beautiful. It's a bit green, I suppose, but all right, so I can see, oh, look what's happening. Look what we got. Okay, oh, there's more tissue paper in the bottom. I have to save that for sure. Okay, so I was really nervous. I was really nervous to get something that I wouldn't know how to use and that I would have to experiment with, which I think is, of course, part of the challenge, right? So let's see here. I got a Neocolor 2 crayon, and the color is, let me read this. Oh, light cadmium red. So I got that, and I got iridescent gold fluid acrylic, which I actually do not have any of. I have fluid acrylics, but not any of their iridescents or metallics. Look at how shiny that is. Oh, my new lighting is awesome. Yeah, so that's cool. Let's see. And graphite paper, which this will be exciting to use because the only thing that I've ever used graphite paper was specifically to transfer a drawing. So after I have unpacked here and finished this part of the video, I'm going to give this some thought and see if I can't come up with a really cool way to use that. And this, ever since in my very first Inspiration Wednesday kind of introduction, when I first saw what Donna, the amazing, talented Donna Downey, is capable of, I have had a roll of this. So this is really exciting too because it's so great for texture and things like that. So I've got some great stuff here. A Neocolor 2 crayon in a very gorgeous red hue. My drywall tape. Gold. Everybody loves gold. Metallics are so hot right now, so that's really exciting. And graphite paper, which is really fun. So yeah, I'm going to shut this off now. I wanted to do the unveiling at the same time as I was actually opening it so you could see if I was appalled by what I had to use or if I'm really excited, and I'm really excited. So yeah, I'll give this some time to kind of percolate in my brain, and then I will be back with a project for you. All right, see you soon. All right, so we are back with Find Out Friday, and I'm excited. I did some experimenting and some thinking, and I tried a few things with some of the drywall tape that didn't work out, and yeah, so it didn't work out. So now I'm back with a couple canvases, and I'm going to kind of aim for something I've been practicing on my own here recently, and I'm just going to take some of my favorite techniques that I usually do on tags and apply them to some smaller canvases and branch out a bit here. So I've covered these canvases in gesso. It's Liquitex gesso, and heated that dry and then kind of let it sit for a little bit. And now I'm coming back in with this gold iridescent from the fluid acrylic from Golden that came out of the box, the Find Out Friday box. And I'm going to use my fingers and just apply some color and get some kind of movement going on my canvas. Also, I will bring in a palette knife, and I'm going to kind of go back and forth between the golden, the iridescent golden and my Liquitex gesso to use as white,
And I was not exactly, let's see, how should I say this? I didn't exactly have a plan in mind. I just know a couple things. Like, I like blocks of color that blend in or kind of invade the space of the next block of color. So for example, kind of like where my gold on that right panel is sweeping out into the white. I know that I like that type of movement. I also like harsher edges, like scrapes and tears and like that kind of feeling, not necessarily blends, though sometimes I do like blends too, just depends on what I'm working on. And also as an artist, I have been kind of keeping a few things in mind, like wrapping color around the side of my canvas and keeping it there, like that right there, just keeping it cohesive and making sure that the paint, it has its movement and doesn't stop at a certain edge. And here you can see I've added back in some white, kind of just going back and forth between the two and getting a good balance, something that I'm happy with. And I did start with my fingers, and I do not have anything like art guard on, but I should get some. This I know. I was talking earlier. I really like, or I mentioned previously, I should say, I really like harsher edges, kind of scrapes and tears and a bit of roughness. And so I know that that's really hard to achieve with my fingers because they're very round and soft and kind of supple tools. So I got out my palette knife and a palette, and I put some of that fluid acrylic down, and then I'm using a palette knife now to scrape that along those edges that I had created in my color blocking earlier. And it was a little bit difficult because the golden fluid acrylic is so fluid. It was a little bit hard to get it kind of scrapey. It kind of wanted to seep instead, but I was just a little rough with it. It did what I wanted eventually. All right, and so now you'll see I did take out some video here. It might look a little bit different than before, but I did a few things that I didn't like, so I just took them off, and to keep the video nice and short and to the point, I just edited that out. But you can see now I was kind of experimenting a bit with that red Neocolor 2 crayon and Cadmium red light, and you can see there's like a little bit scribble there on the right. I really like how the Neocolor 2 is so intense, and once you start to add water to it, because it's a water reactive crayon, then it lightens up quite a bit, and it lightens up a bit too much for me, and I didn't really want a very like a pink hue, so which is what I had got when I did I made some marks on my canvas and then added water in it, and that color did mute out quite a bit. So I just wiped that off. That's the part that I edited out. You can see here I was scraping with some gesso. I mentioned that earlier. And then there's another section of video that I edited out. So I colored some of that drywall tape with the cadmium red, and it did look very, very cool. But then I had this really brilliant idea, and sometimes that happens to me. I'm now coloring some baker's twine, some burlap twine with the cadmium red, and it is stellar. So I just changed the paper real quick so we didn't have all that mess behind the project, and you can see now how cool that red, it's now red baker's twine looks. And I'm using the graphite paper here to make some marks on my page, and I know that I could have done it with a pencil, but I have a problem being a little bit I have a problem being more free and open. So one of the ways I decided to combat that today was using the graphite paper to make my marks, because if I put the graphite paper down, then I couldn't really see where my marks were, and it was a bit more free for me, which I thought was really great. And so I'm definitely going to be implementing that a bunch more. So you don't have to trace with your graphite paper, but it is a really great mark making tool. And so now you can see what I'm doing also with that baker's twine that I colored red with the Neo 2 color crayon. I have got a piece of very silky sari ribbon, and I have started pleating it on my canvas. I'm kind of just like overlapping areas, and then I'm stitching it into place. So it's not easy, but it's totally worth it if you can get it done. Now here is a point I would like to make. If you're going to color things with your Neocolor 2, then you should seal it with a clear gesso. I am getting this like kind of red pink color everywhere. The good thing is that because it's a Neocolor 2 crayon, I can actually wipe it off of like the canvas and my hands and things like that. But anywhere that it touched my Sari silk, silky ribbon, it is stuck there because it's fabric. So it's all right. It didn't do too bad, and I do still really like the effect. It's very bold and pretty. But just keep that in mind if you're going to color things with your Neocolor 2. A good way to keep those things permanent and not move into your other pieces of your artwork is to seal it with clear gesso or a spray or something like that. But I should have colored this twine, not colored, but covered it in clear gesso after I was done coloring it. Would have been great. Now my Sari was a little bit long, so I just cut it off there. And I'm really, really crushing on where these canvases are going at this point. And I've kind of been pushing myself and trying to figure things out and exactly where I want my art to go and how I want to be represented in my artwork. And really, I love things like half abstract, half fiber art, or it's the embodiment of mixed media. That's what I really love. And I also like horizon lines. So now I have this right side and I love it. And the right panel, and it has kind of like a vertical horizon line almost with that graphite, and then especially with the Sari ribbon next to it. So on the left hand panel, I wanted to work more on a horizontal horizon line, and really bring in more of that gold, that really like intense, shimmery, gorgeous gold color. So that's what I did. I created a horizon line high up on the canvas, and it's been accented with white. And some of the white is gesso that I've brought back in after the gold paint dried, and some of it is from the canvas too, from the first layer of gesso that I applied, and I just didn't put any paint there on the canvas itself. I just clipped out some of that Neocolor 2 crayon that had gotten into some areas of the scragglies that were hanging off the Sari. And then here, I'm just accenting my horizon line with more marks from the graphite. And that's it. I'm going to end up with some graphite marks here. And I will say this, pay attention to your graphite paper, because your transfer paper, the dark side should be down. I couldn't figure out why it wasn't working when it had worked earlier, and that's because I had it upside down. And I've used this stuff fairly frequently in my life. There, I did just realize it, so I'm going to do these marks here again. So just friendly tip, make sure the dark side of your graphite transfer paper is down, and you'll be good to go. And I had just a little bit of gesso left, and I did some kind of horizontal lines there to mimic my actual horizon, and there we go. That's it. 2 finished beautiful canvases. So thanks so much for joining me here today. I'm so excited to be amongst such amazing artists, and I had a lot of fun with these products, and it pushed me out of my boundaries. And I hope you're inspired, and I'll see you around the web. Feel free to find me. Bye.